internationals are done for 2025. Thank you very much. Thanks God. England are done. 8 wins out of 8 for Thomas Tuchel. We will get into that. There's some things that have hit the headlines that we need to discuss. Here with me is Liam O'Meara. This is the Fixing Football podcast, and because the international break is over, you owe it to yourself to subscribe and see where this podcast is going to go now. I mean, there's loads of stuff that we're going to be picking up on. We have the big push now towards Christmas, the busy Christmas period. We're going to be talking all things Premier League. We're going to get stuck into Bolton Wanderers and whatever else is out there in the headlines. That's why we're here. We're going to fix something today between us, and Liam's going to give me some help with that. Liam, how are you, mate?
Very well, mate. Very well. Be remiss of me not to say that it's not quite finished, the international break yet, for some teams. Yes.
No, but so England and me and my care, the little sliver of care that I had about it is done.
Well, there's a big game tonight when this goes out, which is the Scotland game, Denmark. That is a massive game.
Where do they sit?
Basically, a draw or a Denmark win, they're going to the World Cup, and a Scotland win, they're going to the World Cup. The loser goes into the playoffs. It is a playoff round for World Cup automatic qualification. At
I don't know if you'll
as
have.
well.
I might just be chucking a few random questions at you here. So have your GPT bot at the ready.
Yep.
I'll allow it on this episode. The qualifications. In fact, we'll get stuck into qualifications in a minute because I have too many questions about it. Still, it seems like we have an expanded World Cup this time, correct?
Yes, that's right.
That's what we're all going through. The qualification seems daft. I mean, I don't know if anyone saw any of the results from the weekend, but Hungary, I think, are now out.
Correct. And Hungary are out.
They've lost 2 games. They've got a decent enough team led by Slobber's and I'll let the captions bot enjoy picking that one out. But they've lost 2, they're out. And Bolivia, who have lost 10 in the South American qualifying, are somehow in like in the qualifying bit of theirs.
Well, this is
they've made they haven't qualified, but they're in the playoffs basically for the.
This is madness. I know we do a little bit of prep beforehand, but I'd only kind of cottoned on to this because of Gattuso's comments, isn't it?
Yeah.
South America, and I don't disagree with him. Like 6 teams from South America seems far too many when you consider. Yes, there's quite a lot coming from Europe, but Europe deserves these places. Like you said, the 6th best placed team with 10 defeat, and I know it's a different qualifying system. It's all one big league table, isn't it, in South America?
Yeah.
Done over 4 years, I think. So it is a different process, but it does seem unbalanced.
We'll come back. We'll circle back round to this. I want to speak about England for a bit. All the headlines are Thomas Tuchel, Jude Bellingham. Very little about the actual performances and results of what actually went on the pitch. I just want to get your thoughts and feelings. Let's have a little discussion about. I don't know. You know me. I'm a vibes guy, so I think I'm not getting good vibes at the moment from this camp. It just seems like the controversy is being pushed, almost forced a little bit from it. Performances have been fine.
Which controversy?
I feel like anything Jude Bellingham does is picked up and spun up, if you will. I'm not saying there's nothing to them things that people are accusing him of. People are doubting his talent for one, which is annoying me. That I think that's a little bit ridiculous. But there's also the hype machine around Jude Bellingham, which is, I guess in itself, been forced down people's throat. So there's then 2 things coming to a head. There's Thomas Tuchel, who's always been quite a divisive character in any camp that he's been in. He hasn't stuck around much anywhere. We have him on a short-term deal for this purpose itself. We've got an excellent guy who's good at what he does, and he doesn't like sticking around, so why bother? Let's try it. There's controversy around whoever he picks. Even there's he's given examples, and he seems to be pretty calm about stuff. There's quotes that he's come out with that, I don't know, maybe we're not used to that with such a placid tenureship under Gareth Southgate. So I just want to get sort of your thoughts and let's call it a vibe check with Liam.
Okay, so there's quite a few different ones there. and I want you to go first on one. Do you think things are being blown out of proportion with Jude Bellingham?
I do, yeah.
Why?
Because it's Jude Bellingham. And I don't know why else. I don't believe that he is an... what's the word I'm looking for here?
Is he England's best player, do you think?
I think he's England's driving force. I don't know if that necessarily means best player. I don't think he's the most skilled player we possess. Personally, I think that's Declan Rice. But he's right up there. He's in the top group of 3 or 4 players who we have.
I think he's England's best player.
Okay.
However, and I do think a lot of the things are being blown out of proportion. I didn't even pick up on the disgusted substitution, by the way. I was watching the game, and I saw a bit of, like, you know, a bit of disappointment, but I didn't see this massive... Like, when I saw it was news after, I was a bit surprised. I thought, this is someone who wants to play for England. Of course he's disappointed he got subbed off. And he's been under the microscope a little bit, and he wasn't picked for the last camp. He wants... These opportunities before the summer are limited, so he wanted the biggest opportunity he got, and it was a game that wasn't necessarily won yet.
Yeah.
So it was there. So I'll be honest, that to me seemed like it was massively blown out of proportion. But I think there's 2 things going on at once. Do I think he's England's best player? Yes. Do I think England are better without him? Maybe. I sometimes worry about this idea of having a player that is perceived as being the best, whether they are or not is a different question, that demands the responsibility, rather than the balance of having someone who's prepared for the play to go through him, which seems to be what Morgan Rogers is more prepared to do. I think England should be building around Harry Kane, not a centre attacking midfielder. I think you should build around the person who puts the ball in the net. You should play to the strengths of the person ultimately who's going to score your goals. And when Jude Bellingham wasn't playing that first game, when Kane was dropping deep and Saka was running on, waiting to receive the ball from Kane, that looked far more balanced to me, rather than anything else. But so I agree with almost both things. I like that Tuchel is someone who can make these calls, because I don't think England have had that before. I don't think that's a criticism of Southgate. I think they were just in different managers with different long-term objectives. Tuchel's main objective is just to win the World Cup. I don't think he stays whether he wins it. I don't think he stays whether he doesn't win it. I think it's just simply... And I think that gives him an element of freedom where, yeah, he can upset people and the vibe might be a little bit different this time than it has been under Southgate. But I think ultimately England have, almost a bit like Arsenal, they've gone to that point now where they are consistently competing for trophies. Maybe they need that difficulty, those difficult conversations to get over the line. And we've gone the other way before with Southgate, where it's been all about the team and the collective, whereas now it's about results. So I kind of get what England are trying to do.
Maybe, you know what, on the pitch you're probably right. What I don't like is what seems to be the negative tone around the camp. And maybe I'm looking a bit too much into it. This is what I'm getting from the media that we're getting, and it seems like there is always a chirp at a player from Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, it reminds me of Sterling. The Sterling stuff from maybe a decade or so ago.
Yeah.
When it reminds me a lot of that, where everything that particular player has done is under a massive amount of scrutiny.
I just feel like Tuchel's dishing these out left, right and centre. He isn't taking in anyone's past into account. It is, what have you done in the last 4 weeks since we last turned up? If that's not of credit to me, then you're out. That's why I have genuine fears that someone like Cole Palmer might not make the World Cup.
I was going to bring up Cole Palmer because it's quite interesting, and I don't know if Tuchel said this himself. He does a lot of interviews. It's hard to keep up with them all, to be honest. But I nearly as bad as Amrin. But there's a lot of media talk about Cole Palmer not turning up for the squad despite being injured, and I've never heard of this concept before. But now it seems to be completely expected of Cole Palmer. I've never heard of this idea that he should be around the squad even though he's not fit.
No,
to hear the messaging.
Maybe if it was Harry Kane, like the captain, maybe if he was injured, you might expect him to be around a little bit. But not Palmer. Has he got 10 caps?
I can understand the idea of you've only got a certain amount of time together, so they need to learn the patterns of play and that type of stuff. But unless it's on the training pitch, I just don't think that's going to. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know there's all different learning styles and stuff like that, and I don't want to get too technical about it. But I'm sat in a classroom injured, knowing I'm not going to play. My attention isn't very great, as you know, mine, and I don't think
it's been noted a few times.
So I don't see the point. Like, might as well just focus on his recovery.
Yeah.
For me, I wouldn't want them around me. I think was it Neil Warnock used to say, "Injured players make me sad. I don't want them around. Like, they just bring the mood down. Like, you weren't allowed around the team when the players were injured."
There's a lot about squad selection. I think the stuff with Miles Lewis-Skelly at the headlines last week, obviously the Bellingham and Foden stuff in the previous camp. I haven't even seen. I know Liam Delap's back from fitness. I feel like everyone has forgot Liam Delap is around the England setup. And,
there's been interesting talks about not taking even bothering taking another striker. He
He
doesn't think anyone's up to the level to, like, it's Kane or a plan B. Like,
yeah.
And to be honest, I don't massively disagree with that. To be completely honest, I think the drop off after Kane is so big that maybe a different plan might be better, like a false nine strategy that brings Saka and these number 10s, maybe running onward Bellingham.
Yeah.
I wonder whether that actually is a better strategy. I think that's there's more to that, I think.
For stuff like that, if Southgate might have implemented that in the last tournament, I can give that some backing. But for a guy who has only known these players 5 or 6 months, I don't think it's the way to go. It'll be 18 months by the time the World Cup comes around, and I don't think we have that in us as a group to just chuck a new tactic in there at last minute.
Maybe.
But it's an interesting one. Last question on current England then. Who, for you, is definitely going to the World Cup? And I'm going to chuck in there. So let's call everyone being fit. Everyone is fit by the time the World Cup comes around.
Okay.
Harry Kane this week spoke about the leadership group that has been in place now, and that's himself, Declan Rice, Mark Gay, Bellingham, and Saka. It's mad. So let's assume that them 5 players are dead certs for the plane to America.
Well, that's what that says. But I mean, it doesn't quite say that, but it's a bit of a show of faith to Bellingham, I think, to put him in that, because there was a talk that he might not go, but I think this is almost trying to put that to bed now by putting him in a little bit.
But it's interesting that Kane was the one to come out with that, almost assure people that he is part of us and nothing from Tuchel, because everything you get from Tuchel on any player is a little bit like, I feel like you could ask him about anyone other than Elliot Anderson or Jordan Pickford, and he would put doubts in your mind whether they were good enough for England again.
I think it coming from Kane is Tuchel basically saying, I don't want people to think I'm diminishing captaincy. Like, you're still my captain, so you say it. I think that's maybe why. But maybe we're overreading into it. But
maybe, anyone else who's definite? Let's call Jordan Pickford 100%.
Oh yeah, Pickford definitely going. I would say Henderson's definitely going as number 2.
Yeah.
I think
number 3. Number 3, would you go inexperience or vast experience? Let's say, do you take with you a James Trafford or do you take with you a Tom Heaton?
I don't.
Because it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter. I wouldn't take Trafford if he's not playing.
I'm not necessarily saying them 2 players, but
at the moment I'd take Nick Pope or Ramsdale. Probably Nick Pope for that experience.
Right, we will do a big episode when it's crunch time. I think it's worth the discussion.
Definites here, aren't we? Right.
Definites.
Right. So
definite.
Pickford and Henderson, definites.
Yeah.
Defenders. I mean, right back. Who we're saying is a definite. I would say Reece James is a definite.
James is the only definite in that fold, I think.
Defenders, Stones and Gay, definites.
Stones and Gay, definites. I'm a big fan of Conser for England, by the way. He's come on a lot since he started getting international
Is he a definite,
caps.
Though?
No, not at all.
Definite either. Left back, I'd say O'Reilly's probably a definite now.
No, I wouldn't. I guarantee if he doesn't play 4 games for City in a row next, he's getting thrown under the bus, picking up Lewis Skelly's stuff.
Fair enough. All right, well, no definite there then. Okay.
I honestly don't think there's a definite there.
Midfielders, Rice, Anderson. I would say...
I'm going to lean on Henderson, though, a little bit because he's been the one who has sort of come back into the fold following, like, even pre-Brentford move.
I don't think you can lean on a definite. I mean, that means he's not a definite. But I do think he'll go, but I can't call Jordan Henderson a definite. I think he should go as well, by the way. But
all right, let me throw some names at you then. Phil Foden.
Not a definite. I think he
Cole
should.
Palmer.
I think he will go. Not a definite.
Jude Bellingham. We're saying he is because of this group.
Yeah, I think he's probably not a definite, but probably. All three of them, more than likely, but not definite, I would say.
And I feel like there's
Harry Kane.
And Kane, yeah. I feel like there's so much room there. Saka's definite.
I think Rashford's a definite as well.
That's my... Them Saka, Kane and Rashford.
I'd say Anthony Gordon's a definite as well.
I'd be interested when Madueke's back fit, which is soon, because Tuchel seems to like him. He was very keen on him and he did well.
He could play all three.
He could play across. So that'd be an interesting one. But again, that's going to be game time reliant with the push for the title.
Yeah, he's going to be competing. Eze will be competing.
Eze. Right. Anyway, I'm going to move back on to something that we was talking about is the qualification bits. The structure of this whole thing. 8 wins out of 8, 0 goals conceded.
Yes, a farce.
What is the point here in England qualifying? England and Spain. Let's call a spade here in European football. There's England and Spain as everyone else. Yeah, at the moment.
I'd say I was having this conversation with someone this morning. Yeah, I think the World Cup's between England and Spain. Personally, I think it's a toss up, but that's a different podcast. There's two different things going on here. Is the qualification a waste of time for England? Yes. Has Tuchel actually learned anything from any of these games? I mean, he'll say he has, but I'd be shocked if he really has.
He only learned stuff about people's personality. He hasn't learned anything on the pitch. There's nothing that England games can teach you about someone on the pitch that you don't see week in, week out.
No, the toughest game was the Albania game, the last one.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Pickford made 7 saves in the last game, which is the same number as all the other games combined.
It was Henderson.
Well, yes, sorry, Henderson. Yeah. So they've made the same number of saves, apparently. Yeah. It's outrageous how it is. So, and we're going to talk about other countries as well. But from a solely England perspective and Spain, it is a complete waste of time. And there's no achievement in qualifying. There's no sense of real achievement.
So what is the point of it? Is the point of it to have a fair sporting chance at any of this?
The integrity element, yeah.
The money, is it the way they split the money up for the UEFA TV deal between everyone? Explain that a little bit.
Well, those are the two big things. So firstly, the integrity element. Should a team, basically because they're better than everyone else, get an advantage? And if you were going to split some out, how would you actually do it? Because then you start saying, the first obvious one to start thinking about is ranking. But then how are you working that out if they're playing a completely different calendar to your calendar? Like, it just doesn't... there's no real... You're basically going to do it on size of nation in terms of footballing acumen. And then who's to judge that? That would be almost like a bidding process. So that's the first thing. The integrity of the whole thing would just collapse if you do.
I'm all for maintaining the integrity. I've never really had a problem with qualifying, but the quality is just...
It's getting worse.
Or are we just getting better?
No, well, yeah, both. I think both are true. The top teams, particularly with how they're able to, with the wealth that they have as well, because we're talking wealthy countries at the top. That's just
who are the top teams here now? Who we're looking at? Is it the traditional ones? Because you look at someone, even a recent European champion like Italy, are getting battered by Norway. Well, I know they have the greatest striker in the world, but they're getting battered by Norway, and the player has never made the country for a long time.
I say for 20 years, Italy have been very hit and miss.
Yeah.
They've missed qualification quite a few times recently.
They won the Euros and then missed the World Cup.
Yeah.
Closest after.
I think they missed the World Cup either side of that Euros as well. Like, they missed 2 World Cups in a row. This could be the first World Cup they qualified for in a long time.
Right.
So, I think
Germany.
the last one was Brazil when Balotelli scored against England. I think that was the last one that they were in. So,
Wow.
I might be wrong with that. Might be completely wrong. But they've got a real issue qualifying for World Cups. As are quite a few teams. But I think there is still a top table of Italy, maybe just sort of got a chair just outside the table, like cut on the end of the corner. But you've got your Germany's, Netherlands,
You've got the Man
Portugal's.
United Big Six chair.
Yeah. The cook chair, as Scott would say. They're sat in the cook chair of the big table. You've got Germany, Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, England, France. Am I missing any? Maybe Croatia. Maybe.
Croatia, they are Spurs.
Yeah, Denmark, maybe. They're like the Villa, if you will.
Yeah. We used to be good once.
So there's a bit, but there is definitely that. And then, so do you take those teams? Because that's pot one. So you're taking pot one. Oh, is that have I jumped into your face?
Perfect. So isn't this why the Nations League was created? Can the two not be married up together? Can we not do something here? Keep them separate. Is the Nations League just for this, that we have this ranking and we do see better internationals most of the time?
Yeah, because I just think the problem with it is the ranking system if you take it away. Because how do you climb the ranking system? Because that's what makes these qualifiers important as well. It's not just if you look at Ireland's amazing result, it's confounded in the fact that yes, they finished second, they've got into the playoffs. Now they may still not qualify, but coming second in that group will have a good knock-on effect for the next Euro pot that they're in, and that it matters for those countries. It matters the climb thing. So there's almost two things going on at once where these top teams are like, they're almost supplementing the rest of it, where these teams are really trying to compete and get their spots because they are taking part. And you've also got you touched something earlier that I'll come back to, the money element. The UEFA deal is split amongst these teams, and a lot of these teams rely on this money. And without having these top teams in that deal, it's a bit like the Premier League without having the Big Six on there.
Yeah.
It completely devalues the product. So the TV deal that UEFA could get for these competitions would dramatically decrease.
So what's the problem here with qualifying? Is it just we just have to grin and bear it and sit through playing really poor teams? Is that it too that keeps them integrity of the competition? Do we just open the World Cup up to everyone, have a 128 team tournament?
Well, here's where I am with it. If I'm being completely straight, I don't think the integrity is as important as everyone makes out. I think people will die on the integrity of the game competition. But sometimes I look at it and go, let's be real here for a moment. Like, these 6 top teams are going to qualify. If you want a TV deal, why don't these just play against each other for a while, have their own competition? And the funds and the TV deal collective of that would be worth more than the other one anyway. And then they can qualify for the remaining places and find a way of working out. But if you do it off ranking and you change the ranking system where it allows for weighted versions of that, so a draw against Germany's worth more, like, you make sure that the weighting's right.
Yeah.
But I just don't see the point of England qualifying. I think it just wastes everyone's time. Like, I know it sounds really elitist and it's not almost like the opposite of what this podcast should be, but it is a waste of everyone's time. Like, it honestly is.
I wonder if the FIFA rankings could be brought into effect here, and let's say the top 4 from each continent, each qualifying region, however you want to say it, the UEFA equivalents, the CONMEBOL and whatever else you want to call the rest.
CONCACAF, CONMEBOL, etc.
Say the top 3, 4, however you want to do it, at the time of the start of qualification comes around, because they all have their own individual tournaments. We all have the European Championships, the Nations Leagues, the Copa Americas, the Gold Cups, whatever you want to call it. We all have them going on. So why don't FIFA points take into account everything, all them teams, so the top 3 European teams, the top 3 South American teams, whatever, they all automatically qualify for the World Cup. And then, aside from World Cup qualifying, so we still fill the quota of giving them matches and sorting a TV deal out, that we create another mini tournament amongst them, a pre-World Cup thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a terrible... It's not a terrible way
It's
of
a
looking at it.
World Nations League, if you will.
The only challenge you've got with that, I think, is getting named... It's the classic problem that you'll always get. Us talking about this, if we were like a body to make the decision, these are all common sense ideas. The issue is, FIFA and UEFA, like the Premier League, are member organisations. So each member has their own vote. So no country's vote means more than any other country, which sounds amazing from a democratic point of view. The truth is, it just means that this cannot happen. Because essentially these other countries are never going to vote for, like, for example, Andorra is never going to vote for England to not be part of their qualification process because England at home for them could fund them for a year.
Yeah, and as well, like just the eyes on for the random once in a lifetime San Marino player who gets picked up by a Premier League side or something along them lines. Like that is even a bigger marketing drive to have one superstar for your country.
So yeah, this is the issue. As much as all these are practical suggestions, it's a very complex problem. This because no one really. The reason you don't hear it talked about a lot is because everyone kind of knows that there's very little you can do about it.
Yeah.
Because of this reason.
I'm going to put a pin in that and say fixed. We're going to come back to international football when it resurfaces around March. But until then, we have some Premier League football to talk about. The upcoming fixtures this weekend, the return of Champions League football. Bolton Wanderers will be back in action. To hear more stuff like this, please do like, share and subscribe. The views and the family, if you will, of the FFP are growing.
Big time.
We're enjoying it. So please get involved. Like, share, subscribe. Follow in whichever platform you're doing it. It's on all the good ones. And we'll catch you after this short break. Bye. And we are back. Thank God I've put a light on. I was in danger of getting beat by the dark then. Cold winter nights. We're on our way to Christmas, Liam. What shirt have you got on today?
This is a retro Celtic shirt.
Fancy that. I've never seen that one.
No.
What year is that?
It's 88 or something like
that. How are you? We've got the Football Content Award this week. So for anyone who's voted for us, thank you. We're going to go and see if it meant anything this week. I'm looking forward to it.
Sorry, I didn't know there was a question there. I thought you were still talking.
No, we were yes.
Then there was such a gap. Then I felt awkward. Let's do that again.
I'm not doing anything again. Carry on.
Right. So, yes, it was great. We had a really good time last year. I'm really looking forward to it. We've got the soup ready. Heading to Leeds. It's not all the way down in London this time. It's only a bit more local for us.
Hopefully that's somewhere to park.
Yes. Well, it's a big... I've never actually been to Ellen Road. One of the things we talked about quite a lot is ticket prices on here, and that is one of the worst grounds for ticket prices in my experience. I think I've only played them once in the Premier League, and the £30 cap wasn't there then. But they cried at the Reebok that year. I think there was another year previous to that maybe, but I didn't go. And whenever we played them in the Championship, even back then, like 10 years ago, you were looking £50 nearly a ticket, and I just could never bring myself to pay. I'm one of those people that there is a line. Like, some fans will say they're taking advantage of me because they know I'll pay it. That doesn't happen to me. There is definitely a line that I will not pay. To watch get pumped away at Leeds. So no, I've never actually been to Ellen Road, so I'm looking forward to it.
So that's Thursday night. There is a game that affects you, Peterborough v Stockport. Not directly, but
not on Thursday, is it?
Yeah. Keeping one eye on that one.
Big. To be honest, I'm not really looking at our competitors at this point. I don't really do that. It's so congested as well. I don't really look for other people's results. I know people say that and they don't mean it, but I genuinely don't really look at other results.
Well, plus you've got a big game as well, haven't you, this weekend? Is it Bradford?
Massive game. Bradford
at
home.
At
Saturday.
home.
Yeah. Could be a sellout as well.
That'd be good.
Yeah, they've sold 5,000 tickets, which helps. But yeah, there could be 22,000 Bolton there as well. It could be an actual sellout. Big game. Big game. They've had a great start to the season, although their form has dipped a little recently, whereas ours has really started to kick on. So
Yeah, break probably came at a poor time for you, didn't it?
maybe. A lot of people said that. I kind of disagreed because we seem to not be rotating as much as we used to.
Yeah.
We seem to have a settled team, so I think a break wouldn't do us any harm. It's given us almost 2 weeks to sort of focus on this game. And I think we're getting better with each week. And that comes with time on the training ground. It's not all momentum. Like a lot of it is time on the training ground. So I had hoped as well the fact that we didn't play would calm some of the Causey Dewberry talk. But it just seems to be anything like, I do a lot of contributing on Football League World with their questions. Every day they're asking me a different version of the same question about Causey Dewberry's loan being recalled in January. Just finding a different way to keep bringing it up. So
what do you think about that? Let's address it then for one time on here. Is there, personally, I don't see a world where Brighton do recall him unless there is a bid in for him. Of some.
Well, the question I got asked today by Football League World regarding valuation again. Is there a world where Bolton could potentially turn it into a permanent move in the summer? Again, that's just so unrealistic. But it's just a way of keeping the conversation going by.
Why is it? Why is it unrealistic? If Bolton get promoted.
How much do we think Mario Causey-Dewberry might be worth?
I'm going to go somewhere in the... Well, it depends who's buying him. If Chelsea are buying him, we're looking at, the high 60s. But
I think you're in a realm of high single millions.
Yeah, I was going to say 8 to 10.
Yeah, Bolton aren't buying him. But the bigger question, and this is my answer to Football League World, is this isn't really about Bolton, because Bolton aren't buying a Mario Causey-Dewberry. That's just not going to happen, right?
Okay.
But it's a question of, do Brighton want to sell him yet? Because Brighton's whole model is built on the optimum time, the time to sort of maximum value.
Yeah.
I doubt that would be this summer, personally. He's only 20. I think that's what a lot of people forget about Causey-Dewberry. He's only 20. There is no rush here. In terms of my worry about him going back in January, I will challenge the idea there is no world. I think there is definitely a world where he gets recalled. I think there's a couple of realistic things.
Not to bolster Brighton's squad.
Not to bolster Brighton's squad, but there's a few different avenues. So I think the two biggest worries are a top-end Championship club turns it into a fee-paying loan. Because when you start adding money to it, that changes the narrative a little bit. So I think that's a big worry. I also worry about Hearts as well. Yeah. Hearts are in a bit of a run. Obviously, Tony Bloom has partial ownership in Hearts as well. So I do worry about that.
Maybe.
But I think Bolton just need to be relaxed about it. It's almost a good thing to be having this chat because it means the loan's going well.
Yeah.
He's playing well. And he's not our player. We can't control it. There's no point worrying about it. But the way I would be doing if I was Bolton is hope for the best is that he stays for the whole season. But you've got to prepare for the worst in that he goes. And you've now got a great case study to other Premier League clubs of why they should be able to loan in your talented wingers to Bolton Wanderers because look what it's done to Mario Causey-Dewberry. Bolton won't do bad out of this, but I would prefer to keep him for the rest of the season. Amazing.
Didn't help out Rayo Mayachi or Wellington Silva.
No, Bolton have this really good reputation when it comes to loan players, but there's as many Rio Miyachis and Shola Shortiris as there are Conor Bradleys and Jack Wilshere's out there. So there's plenty, or Daniel Sturridge. There's plenty of loans that went the other way. Plenty of them. Luke Mbete at Man City, he was awful at Bolton.
Benicaphobe, was he on loan or did you buy him?
Benicaphobe was a loan, yeah. That didn't go too well at Bolton.
No.
There's plenty of examples. I mean, even more recently, the young lad Beck at Liverpool, I think went to Bolton and did quite well. So, yeah, Shortire was a good example. Like I didn't rate him at all at Bolton, not at all.
So we've got all that busy Christmas period. In fact, There was the news that there is no Premier League football on Boxing Day this year.
One game, isn't it?
There's one game.
One game.
And that's because it's Friday. That's it. So they're sticking to the regular scheduled programming of, one Friday night football and then the regular Saturdays and stuff, and then the busyness will kick on from there.
They're quite tied to it though, aren't they, with the TV deal? Like
because there's so many games that they need to broadcast.
Yeah. And also, I suppose one thing that I've not really talked about a lot is that a lot of the coverage is to non-Christian countries as well. Like,
non-Christian countries.
Yeah, like, where like that would be celebrating Christmas in the same way that the Western world would do.
Fair, okay.
So you would think that it's just like putting the games on a Friday would reduce viewership in some of those countries.
Yeah.
And the TVD, it's an element of it I've not heard talked too much, but I'll be honest, it's the first thing I thought of. Like, particularly when you consider like the Chinese market and that type of stuff, the Indian market.
But in the same sense, it's our product. It's the traditional Premier League stuff where it's Boxing Day, and I don't know, bending to the will of the TV deal and how that is set up. Maybe I'm being naive to think that and it's always been going on, and we've always just been bending to it. It's just worked out for us in the past. But something a bit stinky about it not being a busy day on Boxing Day for football.
It's a funny one, Boxing Day. And the EFL will continue. So the EFL will be on Boxing Day. So Bolton are playing on Boxing Day. So that continues.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a funny one, I think. Because it is a pain in the arse watching football on Boxing Day.
Are you at home on Boxing Day? Do you know?
What's that?
Do you know if Bolton are at home on Boxing Day?
I think
no is a perfectly acceptable answer.
Yeah, no, let's go no for the keeping it moving. I think we're away at Rotherham.
Right.
But some Bolton nerd will correct me. But let's say that's true, and that's who we're playing away.
You're at home against Rotherham. So this is your plans now for Boxing Day?
Yeah, I'm going to have to do some negotiating. But anyway, we're at home against Rotherham. So for Rotherham fans, it is a bit of a pain because there's no public transport on Boxing Day. That does add an element to it. So if it was the day after on a Saturday, would it be easier? Yeah, so I kind of get it. It is only one more day beyond, but you're right. Like, tradition is important, I suppose. I'm not as wedded to traditions as other people can be, particularly around Christmas. And, some people have to do the same thing every year. It's not Christmas. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. But maybe it's because it doesn't affect me, which is kind of how we react to stuff, I suppose, really.
Yeah. I'm the same with traditions, though. The benefit of having a young family is you can start making your own, and you're basically just testing new things out every year and seeing what works and who goes where and stuff.
Tradition's a funny thing, I think, because if you're doing something because you always do it, for me that's the worst reason to do something.
Yeah.
Like the single worst reason. Like, no, we always do it. I'm like,
no, I'm just trying to find.
What you want to do.
I'm trying to find the bits that I love, and then I can plan, because it takes us a year to plan a night out, so to get more than 3 people together.
Yeah. So, like, I'm not too concerned about it. But is it Everton? West Ham Everton or something, the Friday night game?
Maybe. Yeah, you might be right. I'm not sure. I remember Chelsea played on Christmas Eve last year. Do you remember that?
I do. I remember Scott moaning about it. Even though, for me, I don't see how it impacted. Again, like, for me, there's something to do on the day.
I liked it.
I liked it because I find, I mean, it's just me, right? And I've not got kids and whatever, right? But Christmas is boring. I find Christmas really, really boring.
Oh, it's for the kids, mate. It's the best.
Well, maybe it is, right? But there's quite a lot of people that will, like me, will find it boring. So I've always been of the opinion that it got to 3:00 in the afternoon, if I have my Christmas dinner, and I'm going to watch some shit film that I don't want to watch, but if there was a Fulham versus Bournemouth on instead, on Christmas Day, I'd put it on. Yeah. And that's just me, right? And I've always thought about this, because they do it in America with the NFL, that plays on Christmas Day, doesn't it?
Christmas Day, yeah.
And the English football did until the 60s. It was only the 60s that stopped that.
Summer of love. Everyone got a bit can.
I'm not hugely against. Yeah, I'm not hugely against all these things, but I appreciate other people would be. So I don't really. It's not a hill I'll die. I'm not saying this is our fix that we play football on Christmas Day, but at least the Ashes is on this year, so I can watch that at night.
And you can find all the information about that on Liam's podcast, Fixing Cricket, which I'm not involved with. Premier League is back, though, this weekend. Title race continues, Liam. City are on the charge. It's all gone downhill for Arsenal in terms of the opinion since we drew to Sunderland and City won against Liverpool. That was the last one. We have coming up Spurs, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, the next 3 games.
Yeah, big
Manchester
week.
City are away at Newcastle this weekend, so that's not an easy one for them either.
No, not when it's Newcastle at Newcastle. Newcastle away is probably like playing against children at the moment. It's mad how bad their away form is. But yeah, Newcastle away is not an easy one. I don't agree with your narrative, by the way. I still hear City being described as the best chance of a title contender this season. I'm not convinced people are completely sold on them. What I will say is I watched quite a few videos just because my algorithm's a football nerd, boring algorithm, and about City's tactics this season and how they've changed. How they've had the fullbacks are staying out wide rather than coming inside to drag the right back out so Doku can get inside. And the idea is Doku's form hasn't improved. All that's happened is Pep's playing to his strengths a little bit more because he's almost now about essentially trying to get Haaland free by exposing Doku into a right centre back. And there's quite good. I'll share one of the videos that I saw about it. But essentially, Pep has evolved once again. Is kind of the point, and it's not it's almost like a complete new team built around purely Haaland's strengths, and it's quite interesting how he's been able to. I still don't think they're gonna trouble Arsenal. I think this game against Newcastle is exactly the kind of game City will. In my eyes, they don't go into that game as favourites. I actually don't think them as favourites going into that game. I think they will struggle in tough away games. I think that'll be they'll only get they'll be in the mid to late 70s in points by the end of the year because of these kind of fixtures. I think
I do want their resurgence to be clipped as soon as possible. So a loss against Newcastle would be fantastic this weekend. Spurs ain't going to be easy for us, and especially it's looking like Gabriel's going to be out for a short while.
Is it at Spurs or is it at the Emirates?
Good question. Let me ask my trusty sidekick. It is at the Emirates.
It's an interesting game.
It's a banker.
I don't know if it is. But no Gabriel's a big loss. That is a game that's going to be settled by a set piece as well.
If Spurs had any... I know I'm going to eat my words here because I can just see Richarlison running off into the corner now. But if Spurs had anyone up front who I half worried about, then maybe I'd be worried. I think they're so weak. I'm massively disappointed with Kolo Muani. I think he looks rubbish. Richarlison is Richarlison. He's about as useless as that celebration that he tries to do. And who else have they got as an attacking option? Tell?
Having a good year, to be fair, off the bench. Seems to make a difference off the bench. I think it'll be there'll be a very defensive team.
I think they'll go super defensive, yeah.
And I think we're at Gabriel. I'm not saying that you become you become blunted on set pieces, but it is your main weapon.
I'm interested to see how we set up, knowing that Gabriel is going to be out for, let's call it 3 weeks. He seems to have a groin injury. So let's call it 3 weeks as best, if it's nothing serious.
You've got people to come in, haven't you? You've got Hincapié,
Calafiore, Mosquera can all play left centre-back. There's also the option of Ben White or Jurien Timber can go in there. So we aren't light for options. I'm just interested to see how we play this one. With Hincapié probably being the most recognised centre-back. Yeah. But has played
That's
a lot
what I would put, because you don't want to move Calafiore.
I don't know if I'd be tempted to do. I don't know if playing Calafiore and Lewis Skelly is a safe option, and I think playing safe is all what Arteta is about at the moment. I think they would encourage each other to do the crazy at either time. Lewis Skelly's a bit free and Calafiore is a bit mad.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose it's interesting in the least interesting kind of way. Who's the centre back replacement going to be? It's not that interesting, but I suppose it is if you're an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I kind of get it, but
I did say I'm interested, not
Yeah.
you will find this interesting.
no, I think there could be a surprise result in that game.
Well, I hope you're wrong.
Well, yeah, I get that.
What else are we looking forward to? No, so we don't have any international football to worry about. Champions League's back next week. What have you got? What are your thoughts now with the long drive into the dark nights? Oh, did I tell you I'm doing Bolton Wanderers Christmas party?
No, you didn't. I remember you did it previously. Or was it the summer party you did?
I did the end of season 1. And I'm doing the Christmas party at an undisclosed location on an undisclosed date in December.
At the stadium near Christmas. It's going to be the stadium, isn't it? Like, why would they hire somewhere out when they've got a massive...
Can neither confirm or nor deny.
Well, of course it's the stadium. Like, why would they pay for someone? They've got the main venue that everyone books. It's definitely going to be the stadium. But it's fine. You don't have to say, but it's obviously there. Probably upstairs in that suite. They've got the chairman's suite.
Can neither confirm nor deny. What are you getting at here?
Yeah, I reckon chairman's suite. Probably. Maybe the big one, the Premier Suite. Maybe. Yeah.
Anyway, talk to me about you. What are your plans? What are you looking forward to? What are we discussing now?
Well.
They've fixed very little today. I did have some notes about England that I didn't get through, but...
No, we've done England now. Forget about them till March. What am I looking forward to, Premier League wise? Can Sunderland sustain? I'm looking forward to seeing that. Well, not really looking forward to it. That will be interesting.
Yes.
I also... West Ham with Nuno. Can they kick on now? I think that's quite an interesting one.
Sunderland are away at Fulham this weekend. West Ham away at Bournemouth.
So I think they're going to be quite interesting games. Also, Sean Dyche at Forest now. See how they
away
start
at Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough game. Even this Liverpool.
Although
they did win there last year, they were the ones that blooded the nose of Arne Slot's brilliant Liverpool last year.
Yeah.
Was it 3-0 at Anfield they won? Some mad result, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, you might be right there. Not 100%, but yeah.
Because they were like pretty much undefeated apart from that game till right near the end, weren't they? Which is obviously not what undefeated means. But anyway, so yeah, I think there are going to be some interesting things to see until Christmas. I'm going on holiday. That's good. First week of December. Tenerife. Nice. That'd be nice. I need to book that off the podcast, by the way.
It's the best. Yeah, to refer to with 2 weeks' notice, this is the first I've heard about it, so...
Well, to be fair, I only booked it like a week ago.
It's not great.
We're going to
have to take it to the committee.
Mine, you know this.
We're going to have to take this to the committee.
Well, it's fine. Scott's approved. Said he can step. Luke said he'll step in. Said he'll do a fitness episode. He can do that. He's wanted to do that one for a while. Talk about his Bruno Fernandes's VO2 max. I think he had written down for us. Yeah. So I'm on a holiday to Tenerife. That's nice. That'll be good. And then Christmas. I believe some people are looking forward to that. That'll be good.
In fact, I think you're in Tenerife at the same time as the wife's parents. The in-laws are there. I think so. Yeah.
I think I've bumped into your in-laws all the time.
More than me.
I see your in-laws more than I see my own family, I think.
Fine. That's it. We're going to have to wrap it up here. Because you are boring.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for my holiday. What can I say? No, I don't go on many, do I? I think last time I went to was Vegas.
Look what happened. Look what happened there.
Look what happened.
Right. We're going to call that there. Thank you very much. Please do get in touch with all your fixing requirements on need. We're going to be jumping in. We've got a load of topics coming up on the horizon. Thankfully, England won't be one of them for a while. So get in touch. Wish us luck for the podcast awards this week. We look forward to seeing anyone who's going to be there who's listening now. And we'll catch up with you all soon. FixingFootballPodcast.com for all your needs. Like, share, subscribe. Say hello to Liam on Twitter. And I'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye everyone. Well done.